Burnout doesn't always look like collapse. For high achievers, burnout often looks like functioning on the outside and deteriorating on the inside. You still miss deadlines, you still show up, people can still call you reliable, but the cost is getting heavier every single week. Today, we're breaking down the subtle burnout signs high performers ignore until it becomes a crisis. And then we're going to address them. We're going to explain how to address them before your body or your mind forces you to stop. Now, here's the fact about burnout. High achievers don't burn out because they are weak. They burn out because they don't stop. Drive without recovery equals collapse. Burnout is often invisible until it's severe. In today's workplace, where speed is rewarded, boundaries are punished, and busy is a badge, high achievers get praise for the very behaviors that destroy them. They are constantly rewarded for saying yes to working through exhaustion, solving everybody else's problem, and skipping rest because you can handle it. Burnout for high achievers is slow and is very often disguised as productivity. So, what is high achiever burnout? Is this you? And let me know in the comments below if this is you. Burnout in people who look like they are winning. That's what high achiever burnout looks like. It's functioning with low emotional battery, performing well but feeling numb or empty inside, and living life on autopilot and no passion. The person in the picture is clearly happy, but more often than not, for high achievers, it is very difficult to get that kind of smile on their face. It's very difficult to get that kind of expression in their eyes because they are constantly feeling like they are on autopilot, like their life is just one task after the next task after the next task, and that is all they're driving towards. Now, here are the quiet red flags. And I say quiet because, unfortunately, for high achievers in this scenario, you don't see the signs until they are too complicated to ignore. So, here are some quiet red flags for you. You get things done but have no joy in them. You only rest when you crash. There are people who can only sleep when they are so exhausted they can barely move. There are also people who feel guilty when you slow down. Is this you? Let me know in the comments below. Do you feel like if you take a break, you now feel like you have done something wrong? Like there's something you need to be doing every single hour of the day in order to have any sense of self worth? That's a quiet red flag. The next one is you can't stop thinking about work even in your off hours. There are certain people who can't leave work in the office. The moment you close for the day, or the moment you're on your off hour, you're off your shift or whatever it is, you find yourself still thinking about work because your brain can't process anything else. And the final one, which is also another red flag, is people might praise you for your efforts. People might praise you for the things you are doing, but you don't feel any kind of attachment to that praise. You feel detached, you feel numb. It's like, okay, I don't really see what you're praising me for. I'm just doing what I think I should be doing rather than celebrating how far I have come. Now, the quiet ones go unnoticed, but these ones scream loud and they scream clear, especially when they show up. The first one, which is a late sign to take very seriously, is chronic exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Being an adult does not mean that just because you fall asleep, you are still exhausted when you wake up. It's not a sign of being an adult, it's a sign of being severely burnt out. If you are so exhausted that sleep can no longer fix you, you are in a serious crisis. The next step is the irritation at every tiny thing. There are people who get irritated at every single thing that happens around them. There are also people who are very forgetful and have brain fog. You enter a room and you just find that your brain is so slow. You're staring at your computer, you're staring at your paperwork, and you just find that you can't process it any longer. And of course, there is social withdrawal, and then comes the health symptoms. It takes that gradual steps until your body itself starts to give you loud, glaring signs. Few examples of that are migraines, you have insomnia, you have gut issues because your the acid reflex in your stomach starts reacting negatively around you. So if you ever get to this stage, you are a very you're in a very deep crisis mode and it has to be addressed as quickly as possible. Now, why does this happen to high achievers? First one is that their identity is tied to achievement. They feel like their sense of self-worth is tied to how well they've been able to achieve their goals. How well are they doing their job? That's all they're thinking about. The next thing is the fear of disappointing others. People who grew up in houses where they feel like their identity is tied to their achievement, they have this constant fear like if I let my coworkers down, if I let my bosses down, if I let my employees down, I am automatically a failure. And so the next thing they will start thinking is that if I slow down, I lose my advantage. They start telling themselves that, oh, I need to make sure I'm always on the move. I need to make sure I'm always on it. I'm always on. I'm always switched on. Because if I'm not always switched on, I'll lose my edge. I'll lose my advantage. And of course, then there's the trauma driven productivity. If you grew up in a household where your only sense of self worth was based on how well you did in school and how well you did in your tasks and your chores, you grew up feeling like every single minute of every single day, in order to feel worthwhile, you have to achieve something. And therefore, those individuals, yes, they might become high achievers, but they are so drained out and they are so burnt out that they can no longer separate themselves from the work any longer. Now, here's the consequences if you don't stop. First one is that your work quality eventually drops because your brain can't regulate anything any longer. Your emotional dysregulation increases. Your emotions now become haywire, you get irritated easily, you get drained easily. Your relationships, of course, will suffer. Your physical health declines, and you begin to resent what you once loved. All these consequences come up if you don't know how to take breaks. If you are constantly switched on, all this and far more eventually come up. Now, in this picture, you have a group of people playing a sport. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. Unfortunately, some people take whatever they are doing so seriously that it feels like their lives depend on it. No breaks, no pauses, no off days, just always switched on. And nowhere is this more prevalent than in sports, especially for high achievers. And it's very important to take notice of it because when it happens, your body starts to wear down, your performance decreases. Now, here are some research strategies that work. You don't fix burnout with a vacation. So, if anyone is telling you that, oh, once you are feeling burnt out, just take a vacay, you'll be all fine. It isn't wrong. You don't fix burnout by doing that. All you do is you are prolong the matter. So, the first step is to enforce a no work boundaries by design, by intention. Create time breaks in your day and in your week where you do absolutely no work, no matter who is asking. The next step is to replace your goals with capacity-based planning. In a few videos, we've looked at how to develop SMART goals and how to develop goals that actually help you plan your week properly. But it's important to not just focus on the goals, but on progress. Now, you also need to schedule non-negotiable recovery blocks. By non-negotiable, I mean certain moments of certain times, at certain times of the day, you need to address to yourself, I am doing nothing but either meditating or resting or picking up a hobby or whatever the case may be, something that can help you mentally and emotionally recover. And also learn to stop at done, not perfect. There is nothing that can ever be perfect, but if it can be completed, complete it and leave it there, rather than trying to find a perfect solution or a perfect angle to it. Now, also ensure that you're getting accountability. Work with people. Let people work with you as well. Don't just be isolated in your job space. Learn to have somebody you report to so that they also can give you advice and help you notice, especially when you're feeling burnt out. Now here's the leadership truth. If you don't make time for wellness, you will be forced to make time for illness. Sustainable excellence is far more important than constant output because consistency beats intensity only if you protect your stamina. If these signs sound too familiar to you, it's not because you are broken, it's because you are doing more than most people without protecting the engine that powers it. Don't wait until your body or your mind collapses to take burnout seriously. Start taking steps now to ensure you are able to better prepare for it. Now, if you want a structured support to rebuild sustainable performance, have a customized personal growth plan designed specifically for high performance. You can click the link in the bio and get started. It's designed to prevent burnout, increase your clarity, and build around your energy, personality, and season. Let me know in the comments below as well which burnout sign hits you the hardest. And if you want more leadership and mental health work videos like this, please subscribe, leave a like, and share with a friend. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.